Remember, Rocky is charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault for supposedly firing a gun and pointing a gun at an old friend from high school in November 2021. So here's Rocky leaving court today.
Rocky, how's it going in there?
Yeah, he's not going to say anything, but he's been really nice to everyone. There's Joe. Obviously, it's better if you get in.
Joe, how hard is it for you to not talk right now?
So hard.
You always talk to us.
My ride was illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. Ride or die. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Not much after that. You don't see Rocky again. But actually, I went and filmed him driving out, and they stopped. Joe rolled down the window. You don't totally.
What's up, guys?
Rocky.
All right, 10:30 tomorrow, right?
10:30 tomorrow, right?
What's up? What's up, guys? All right, 10:30 tomorrow, right?
So they'll be back in court then. And yes, busy. Megan, what's up? What's up? What's up? Gigi is a vibe. I'm sure he sees you on YouTube and knows you are awesome. Yes, I hope so. I hope so. But, we did learn a lot this morning. Jury selection was kind of slow. They struck a couple people. Like, a couple people got dismissed who, or one guy for sure, I heard him talking about how he has like really strong feelings against guns. He doesn't think people need guns, that kind of thing. So he got struck. And no, Relly is not in court. I think the only time we're going to see him in court is when he comes in to testify. He was not in for that. And part of it is they had like 100 people for jury selection, and the courtroom is just there's only a certain size to the courtroom, so it was limited in the morning. They had a pool reporter, my friend Andrew Dalton, who's the Associated Press reporter, was the guy sitting in there manning the pool. But then later in the day, some seats actually opened up. There were 4 seats, so I went in there and was listening to it and taking notes. And they've got 12 jurors in the box, and everybody else is sitting out in the gallery, and they're asking the 12 jurors questions. And what's really interesting, this hasn't really gotten out yet, is at the end of the day, Rocky's lawyers took issue with the fact that the jury pool only had, of those like 105, 106 people, there were only 5 African Americans. So they were raising an issue that the jury pool is not fairly representative of the community when it's 9% Black in the areas that jury service pulls from. They pull from a 20-mile radius of the courthouse in Los Angeles County. The judge rejected it. He's not striking the jury pool, and the prosecutor was saying that they hadn't even like come close to meeting the standard on it. But it was interesting nonetheless. Here, let me see if I can. Yeah, here it says, it was Chad Siegel. So it's Joe Tacopina's lawyer, Chad Siegel, says the jury pool doesn't represent the cross-section of the community because there's a lack of African Americans in the pool. Says the panel was only 5% African American, or 5 African American people, which was 4.7%, and the area in question is 9%. So he said this is clear underrepresentation. And Judge Arnold kind of interestingly said, how do you know that some of the other jurors are not African American or have African American blood? And Siegel says they're just looking at what's clear from what they're looking at. And he said this is a distinctive group that's missing. And the prosecutor responded saying that counsel completely misapplied the legal standard, said they do not establish in any way, shape, or form that the LA County jury commissioner chose poorly. And Judge Arnold denied. He said there's no authority that requires any particular percentage of any ethnicity on a jury. But he did tell Siegel that he did a good job organizing his thoughts. So it was a decent argument. But, that's the kind of stuff that Rocky's lawyers want to be really aggressive about, because that could be an appealable issue. They just want to kind of get everything on the record on that. They want to try everything. So how many European Americans, it's hard for me to estimate, but yeah, I mean, it's a cross section. It looks like an LA jury pool to me, especially being used to covering juries in Orange County, which is like a lot just like wider and just more like you can imagine an Orange County jury pool, although that doesn't always hold up. But this one feels like more of an LA jury pool, more younger people, more racial diversity, that kind of thing. But He's facing a maximum of 24 years. Prosecutors said if he gets convicted, they'll probably ask for like a 10 or 12-year sentence. Here's the thing. He rejected a plea deal this morning. And I was surprised. First of all, I was shocked at what the offer was from prosecutors. I mean, this whole time he's charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault. The maximum was 24 years. I've always figured he's not going to get close to that, but it is a big sentence. But prosecutors were offering him, he would plead guilty to one of the first-degree assault counts. He would have to admit to using the firearm. He would get 3 years probation and a 7-year suspended prison sentence. And he would go to county jail for 180 days. So he'd do the 180 days in county, which would probably be less than that. And then he'd be on probation for 3 years. And if he screwed up his probation, he would have to do the 7-year suspended prison sentence. And there's also like 480 hours of community service and anger management classes would be part of it. And he declined. He said, "I respectfully decline, Your Honor." I've actually got it on video here. So, and I said to Rocky afterward, or I said to Joe Tacopina, his lawyer, afterward, I said, it seemed like kind of a good deal. And he's like, "I think an acquittal would be better." And he just said, with a felony conviction, it would really affect his career, touring, that kind of thing. So yeah, they're going for it. But we did hear the first preview of a defense, and I'm going to have an article that explains all this on legalaffairsandtrials.com. I'm going to put that out tonight. But they have a witness. It's actually ASAP 12E, Jamel Phillips, who is part of the ASAP conglomerate with Rocky and Relly, and was there that night. And apparently he's going to testify that Rocky carries a starter pistol. So like something you use to start a gun with, like it doesn't, or start a race with, it doesn't fire bullets, but it makes a loud sound. And the story is that Rocky carries a starter pistol with him for protection, because they have to explain this gun that Rocky has in his hand in this video. Here, let me pull up the video. But this is the defense witness. Jamel is going to testify that Rocky carries a starter pistol with him, but that Relly was the one who instigated the violence, was the one who came after him. So Rocky was like acting in self-defense, but he never pointed the gun at him because that's not on camera. And then he also never fired it at all. So prosecutors were complaining that this was like an ambush defense and that they'd never heard of this before, because they're technically supposed to disclose any statements from witnesses, oral or written, 30 days before trial. So the judge did get on Joe Tacopina and say that he should have disclosed this, but the idea that he was just not going to let ASAP 12E testify is no. It's just, the catch is he's going to let prosecutors talk about the fact that Joe didn't disclose this until like the eve of trial, which of course is going to kind of play into the idea that, they just made this up to try to save his ass. But we'll just see how that all plays out. It's always hard to judge any of that before any of these guys testify. So we'll just have to see. But the plea deal, yeah, here, I've actually got a video of the plea. I had a,
What is there an offer from the prosecution to Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, what is the offer?
The offer is as follows. Go ahead, counsel. The defendant would plead guilty to count 1, assault with a semi-automatic firearm. It's violation of 245B, and admit the allegation that he personally used a firearm pursuant to the allegation under 12022.5A. In exchange, he'd be placed on formal probation.
Hold on. Are you aware, is the defense aware of this offer?
We proceeded right. We discussed it.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry. So he pleaded those charges. He'd be placed on probation for 3 years with 7 years state prison suspended. He'd have to serve 180 days in the county jail, complete 480 hours of community service, a 52-week anger management program, a gun safety course, and surrender any firearms that he has in his custody.
All right, I got the community service, I got the gun safety, what was it, anger management, is that what you said?
Yeah, 52 weeks anger management.
And Your Honor, we wanted to make sure that the defendant understood. We said.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ask him Is he aware of this offer and how he feels about it?
We just wanted to, from the people's perspective, Your Honor, make sure the council understands, the defendant understands, that if he's convicted, his max on this case is 24 years. We're gonna be asking, very likely, for a sentence that's gonna be somewhere 10, 12 years in state prison. And he's gonna have to serve, depending on CDCR's different credits, which seem to be changing. Originally it was 85%, they're still serving 2/3, but 2/3 of that time is a lot of time in state prison. We just wanna make sure that he is aware and understands for issues later, if he's convicted and there are issues of ineffective assistance, I didn't understand, I wasn't told, etc., that he's in court understanding that that's what he faces if he's convicted.
All right, Mr. Tacopina and Mr. Siegel, did you discuss this offer with your client? Mr. Mayers, do you agree with that?
Yeah, they spoke to me about it in detail, Your Honor.
Did they fully explain to you what the offer is to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how do you feel about it?
I respectfully decline, thank you.
All right, you understand that you never know what a jury's gonna do. If it happens that it doesn't go your way, people who are convicted of this crime, they go in custody and they go to prison. Are you aware of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're not gonna get any special treatment, you're not, your status as an entertainer, your status as the significant other of Rihanna, that's not gonna go to your benefit, and it's not gonna go to your harm. I'm gonna treat you like I would anybody else who's sitting on in that chair. So you are aware that if convicted, you'll go in custody, and it's very likely you'll get a significant prison sentence. You are aware of that?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm well aware.
All right, then you're not interested in the people's offer.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then that takes care of it for appellate purpose. Okay.
Ron, Did I just raise one more thing? We don't have, I just want one more thing. We don't have to deal with it now.
Go ahead.
One other thing I just put in the email. You don't have to do it now, we have time.
Hold on, let me get
Yes,
it.
sir.
I don't think, I'm sure you said it to me, I was probably, I
Okay.
didn't see it.
I just drew up the CC.
Are you talking about what you sent? I only have one email that you sent. Is that the one you're
This
talking
morning,
about?
right?
Yes, 9:22 a.m.
That's it.
All right, what part do you want to talk about?
Just, I don't know if we have to talk about it today, but just, I want to confront the issue regarding this. We had last night, a disclosure against that videotape that we don't think it's exactly accurate. They basically spliced it.
Oh, yeah.
So we can deal with that before it's in the news, before we want to go down.
Well, let's do it after the jury is selected,
Sure.
before opening statements.
Sure.
All right, let's go down to 102.
Hey,
So this is when they all
Off the record.
went down to meet the jury pool, and they were on the 11th floor, and we went down to the 9th floor and got the jury pool in there. So yeah, it's still jury selection, and I don't know. I was talking to some other reporters. I'm like, this judge is good and he's efficient, but just the system of jury selection is such a clusterfuck that I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do opening statements until Monday. But maybe on Friday, but I don't know. Friday's kind of a weird day to do things, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not till Monday. But I don't know. We'll see.